Working on a 2005 Magnum. Customer states that it was running fine. Then it started making noise, smoking up, and shut off. Didn't want to fire back up. If any of you know about these early Gen 3 Hemis, the 5.7s, they are notorious for dropping the valve seats. So yeah, everything from 2003 to I believe 07, 08, they got this problem. It's a defect from the factory. The heads like to drop the valve seats. So I'm not even gonna try cranking it over. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull all the spark plugs, and if a valve seat did drop and it was bouncing around the cylinder, one of the plugs should get hit. So that's what I'm gonna do first. So I started breaking all the spark plug loose by hand, and I noticed that the spark plugs threads were dragging. Felt really dry. God knows when's the last time these spark plugs got taken out. So I soaked it all in some penetrating oil, and while that stuff is seeping in, I'm gonna hook up my scanner and let's get the codes. So I pulled off the spark plugs, and I didn't find any hammered ones, but check this out. Look at how much carbon buildup is on all these plugs. This thing was running rich as hell. I mean, every single cylinder, every single one is like that. And look at, let me see if I can focus. Can you see the center electrode? How wore out it is? I mean, these plugs haven't been changed in forever, man. Well, the car has over 200,000 miles, so. But the good news is I feel much more confident spinning the motor over now. So I'll turn it over, see if it's locked up. If not, we'll keep at it. All right, try it. Well, it turns over just fine. Next, let's do a compression test. Go ahead. Go ahead. Try it. Wow, that one's dead. So we did a compression test and the results are disastrous. Cylinder 1 at 80 psi, 3 is 120, 200, 200, 210, 230, 230, and number 8 barely jumped the needle, touching 30. I call it dead. So I got a funny suspicion about these lifters. You know, these engines, they cut off 4 cylinders. So when you're on like the freeway and stuff, it'll cut off 4 cylinders basically for mileage, and it does that with the lifters. I think and these things are prone to failing, these type of lifters. So yeah, we're gonna have to get the heads off this thing, but I'm hoping that the short block is okay, but we'll see. So because of my suspicion about these lifters collapsing, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull off this valve cover, because cylinder 8 was the worst one, the lowest compression. I'm gonna pull off the valve cover, turn over the motor, and I'm gonna watch the rocker, the intake rocker, the cylinder number 8, and see if it moves. If it doesn't open the valve at all, if it barely kind of does this a little bit, I know my lifters are collapsed. Or, probably unlikely, the camshaft lobe flattened out, but more likely it's the lifter collapsed. So check this out, guys. The intake lifter on number 8, it collapsed so bad that the push rod literally fell off the rocker. See that? I suspect it started getting some flutter and it literally fell right off. That's why that cylinder's dead, no compression. But I'm sure that's not the only one. I'm sure there's multiple lifters that are collapsed. This one was really low. That one also. Yeah, these heads have to come off. We're gonna have to change lifters. So I got the manifold pulled, I got the heads pulled out, lifters, and The pistons head, they had a lot of carbon buildup, but I went ahead and cleaned them all up. Came out pretty nice. The short block should be in good shape. There's the lifters and heads. Yeah, I suspect that multiple lifters, they collapsed inside the plungers. But the good thing is, all the rollers look in pretty good shape. That means the cam's in good shape. That's what I was worried about. Flattening out one of the lobes and I had to pull the cam out. Basically have to pull out the short block. But the heads, good thing they didn't drop any valve seats. I'm gonna send the heads out to go all brand new seats, brand new valves, brand new guides, seals, springs, the whole nine, make them brand new heads. So also I'm gonna put new push rods. The rockers are in good shape. But yeah, get new lifters, new heads, gaskets, the whole nine. Get this thing up and running good. All right, so while I'm waiting for the heads to come back from the machine shop, I just started cleaning up the engine bay a little bit, rewrapping the wiring, stuff like that, make it look a lot cleaner. I did pull off the old dampener because I'm going to be installing this guy right here. It's a 20% underdrive dampener. I've done this mod to all of the Hemis I worked on, and for me, you do feel it. Seat of the pants. Not so much at the high RPMs, but off idle, revving up, you do really feel it. Yeah, so it's a nice unit, Summit. It's just a rebranded Trick Flow. So kind of the same thing that Costco does with Kirkland. Highly recommended to change out the crankshaft. Highly recommended. You gotta do it, man. You don't want problems later. So figured I had all this room. Let's do it. So we got the heads back from the machine shop and they came out great. Wayne's machine shop in Riverside, they always do great work. So slapped on new seats, new valves, guides, springs, the whole nine. These are brand new heads. I did have them shave them down 10 thou. I wanted to get like hair more compression, and while I had them off, I did do some light port work, just mainly to clean off the rough castings. Should help a little bit on the top end. Oh, and they did upgrade them to the SRT springs. I thought that was pretty cool. So they should work very good. Let's get them slapped on. Got the heads back on. I just finished a compression test. They all range from 220 to 240, so all within 10%. All good. Let's keep at it. Running nice and smooth.